Hello, everybody. I am back from my hiatus. My finals are over. I can record now. Yippee. Now, I'm here to share with you some school experiences. So, this first incident actually started in 2022. I was a wee lad, and they just allowed the people to attend real classes instead of being stuck behind a computer screen. Now, during the pandemic, I only had one friend in my class. We'll call them K. Now, K was interesting. So, during our term, the start of our term, the monitor seated us because the teacher couldn't be bothered to come into class early to sort our seating positions. And conveniently, I was in front of K. Now, being friends, we naturally strike up a conversation, and this is where things went. I wouldn't say downhill, but for me, it was downhill. Maybe not for them. So keep in mind that they were my only friends, and I wasn't their only friend. So this is going to come back to bite me in the ass later, as you will see. So blah blah blah, school blah 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 blah, and then oh wow, it's already graduation. Oh my goodness, yay! And during the term, I think around like 3/4 of the term, Kay actually switched to an international school. Rich bastard, because of her I don't want to say mental ailments. We'll say because like I think they consider it a mental ailment. I don't know. They consider it a ailment. So they came back to visit us during our graduation ceremony, and because I was very excited that my only friend since around like January, around they came back like after like 2 months from since they transferred schools, so I basically had no friends for 2 months. I was so happy that I just decided to stick by them the entirety of the graduation ceremony. Well, not ceremony, graduation day. Until when, I was up to my tomfoolery, they called me and told me. I heard them whisper under their breath, how do I tell you this nicely? And they uttered the words, "You are boring and annoying." That sent me down a very bad spiral on graduation day as well. I was quite, uh, I don't even know how to say angry because at that time we were so good friends that I actually trusted them with my personal insecurities at the time. And because of that, they just uttered it right in front of me. I'm sure no one else heard it, but the fact that they bring it up in such a nonchalant way, it cut deep, cut really deep. I sat in the corner of the classroom to cry all day, and thank goodness I lacked communication skills because if I did have communication skills, I think the events would have played out differently, which I would not have liked because they just thought, oh, uh, I was very sad that I have to leave school and go to a form system. But we also had a campfire, which was supposed to be our graduation trip, but it got cancelled because of a landslide. But, thank you, Mother Nature. You just ruined my one and only chance to go on a trip with my friends. Well, friend. But anywho, they replaced it with an activity where you have to stay, I think, around like 10 hours at school, which was just a bunch of fun stuff we had to do. Bonding before we, go to our middle schools, I guess. And yeah, they attended the activity as well, even though because they registered before they transferred schools. So I mean, like, they're not gonna waste money. I'm not gonna waste money. So we just went. We split into different groups. I did not even bother to look at what team that they had been put in because I was so mad at them for using those words at the time. My insecurities and whatnot. So yeah. And after the event, we gathered outside school. They lit a huge fire to celebrate our graduation. And after that, we had, I think, a parting ceremony where all the class people, all the graduating classes would come out, all their students would give a speech. I was very tempted to slander their name because of that one incident, but you know, obviously, I lacked communication skills as stated last time, and I couldn't ask for the mic to slander it. But whatever. It's all over now. I made an attempt to talk to them again, and we are now on good terms, so I guess this problem is solved. I still haven't forgiven you, Kay. You better hope you don't see me anywhere. I might just burn your house. This is a joke. This is a joke. This is a joke. I don't mean it. Please don't sue me. Anyway, next is during middle school, which I am still in, by the way. But a lot of interesting things happen, so I'm here to share with you. So during the start of the term, the first day I went to my class, and they said my class was one of the top three classes. So they had a test the day after the first day, which is like right tomorrow. And this class is to determine whether your mathematics and science will be taught in English or our national language, which is Malay. I think you all know that. So, naturally, the next day I came into school with a headache. Of all the days that I could suffer from a terrible headache, the day of the test, I suffered the worst headache of my entire life. Oh my goodness. But either way, I pushed through and completed the tests. And I ended up being a lucky candidate for getting my subjects taught in English. Because English is my mother language. Well, not my mother tongue. It's my first language, we'll say. So I was quite lucky that even though I had a headache during the test, I actually still passed the requirements for the test. And that was quite nice. So I'm quite happy about that. I'm still in the class, by the way, if you guys are interested. Uh, and they had an entire week where we just didn't have classes because they wanted us to get suited to a new school environment. And I didn't come for the remaining 3 days of the entire week. You want to know why? Because I actually got COVID. I got COVID the second time, and during one of the most pivotal moments of my life. No big deal. It's not like I missed it. And it's not like I missed it. And during the day where I had my headache, I actually got lost, and I made it back into class with a sparing 2 minutes left before recess ended. So yay, I guess I didn't like fall down a drain and kill myself. So during this year, I was alone again. I think everyone was expecting this. Yeah, I was alone again, of course. But on the next week, the week where we start actually learning stuff, I made one friend. We'll call them YJum. Now, at the time, I thought YJum was just a nice person, just a good run of the mill top student because they were actually like topper students, so quite funny. And after I get to know about them, which I will share a bit more next time in a friends video or something. After I get to know them a bit more, they actually they're kind of weird. No offense, of course, if they're watching this. Hi, YJM. How's life? How's life in another school? Anyway, back to what I was saying. YJM, one of my only friends during that time. So around May of the school year, I made another friend. Well, it's not me who made friends with them. Uh, you know, it's one of YJM's friends, and naturally, since I was clingy to whoever I meet on the first day of school, I just met them from YJM. So who do we call this second individual? Well, I'm glad you asked. I think we should call him LZ. No particular reason. No, really, no particular reason at all. So me, LZ, and YJM, we were the main outcast of the class because we didn't make an effort to talk to a lot of people in the class other than YJM, but YJM doesn't talk to more people. It's barely just a bit more than us. So that was kind of weird. We just called ourselves we were deemed the outcasts, but we didn't call ourselves that. You know what we called ourselves? We called ourselves the dumbass trio, and I bet none of the members are actually watching this video because they don't keep up with my YouTube channel at all. So the dumbass trio. Make sure you keep this name in mind. This might actually come up in a few videos after this. So now during the period where the dumbass trio actually existed. Well, we did a lot of shenanigans. We were up to a lot of shenanigans. Well, nothing too serious. We didn't get like suspended or anything. Just a tough tomfoolery. And I guess during this period, like LZ and I got really close. I guess LZ and I got close. I think. And because of that, they started to, I think, like talk to me a bit more. Since YJim is like usually talking to another person, we'll just call Jim. Jim. We'll call them Jim. Since YJim talks more with Jim, they usually come and pester me. Which, looking back at it now, I kind of miss it since we're no longer friends. I'll get to that in a second. We're no longer friends, so that that really sucks. Uh, anyway, back to the thing. So during the period of the dumbass trio, me, YJM, and LZ, it's run of the mill school stuff. Until the next year, which is actually this year. Yippee! So this year, I think around May-ish. Yeah, around May-ish of this year, the uh yeah, LZ got a bit more social and a bit more comfortable with the classmates, and because of that, they talked more with other people. And this year actually was the year that YJUM decided to transfer to an institute in Singapore to further studies via scholarship. So I was quite bummed that one of my friends are going to go and abandon me. Don't worry, he's fine. I'm fine. But then again, like during this year, because YJM was leaving, I got a little bit more attached to LZ, and LZ during this year got less attached to me. So that was quite nice because they had made other friends. And actually, during this time, I think around in August, because of like stress and a lot of performances during this year, I actually broke down a lot for 3 months straight. I had to go to the counseling room to get like quote unquote counseling, which kind of helped. And then like during the later parts where I had to like let go, it did help. But the main reason was okay. So this is the first breakdown. All right, first breakdown because of stress, and After my counseling session, LZ, worried, ran towards me mid rehearsal for performance. Well, not mid rehearsal, like they were in a rehearsal and I wasn't because obviously I just came out of counseling. What do you want me to do? Instantly get dragged back into my role? So since it was during like a break time, they rushed over to me and they asked what happened. I had to say like stress because it was stress. At the time, it genuinely was stress. I could not handle the load of the midterms and the performances at once. And now I actually broke down, so that was kind of nice, experiencing depression and anxiety. But anyway, yeah, they came up to me, they asked what's wrong. Out of the blue, they actually hugged me, which I still remember fondly, mainly because I am deprived of human touch or whatever. And I still remember this fondly because that was my only friend before I made new friends because they didn't want to be my friend anymore. Well, I didn't want to be their friend anymore. But we'll get on to that later. So, uh, you know, after the stress incident, uh, because my mental state was already in a very terrible state, I had to I actually broke down more, but not out of stress. Well, it was just because I was insecure, I guess, most likely. Now that I'm looking back on it, it's because like most of my friends didn't want to talk to me anymore, especially Elsie, because they had other friends. They didn't have time to, you know, care about one of the first friends that they ever made. Because yeah, if you didn't pay attention, uh, me and Mijum were their first friends, which was yeah very funny, quite funny. Uh, but other than that, I still broke down multiple times because of I think stress sometimes, but mostly due to s- other stuff like because they since LZ has been drifting away from me, I actually became more and more depressed because they were one of my only friends after YJum was gonna leave. So I naturally started to care about them a little bit more. And but then they had new friends and they started to care about me a little less. So at that point, I really didn't have any friends, to say the least, I guess. But and then it hit me. I she just Alright, you know what? I'm tired of addressing them by their pronoun, the they them pronouns, because I think some people might find out who the real LZ is. But I'm tired of telling this story multiple times. So I'll just address them by she. Yeah, they're a woman. So what? You'll never know about the gender of K though. I'm gonna keep that one a secret. So LZ, she started talking to other people. We'll call them Al and Yo. So Al and Yo were her new friends, and she started talking to them a lot more. Casually abandoning me. And the second time, I actually had to bring Yjum and Elsie into the counseling room because both of them were talking significantly less to me. I was getting left out of the Dumbass Trio activities regularly, and yeah, we settled the problem, but it was only a temporary fix for a problem that would haunt me for the next 3 months. And after like a week or two, it started happening again. That like nothing ever happened. The therapy session never happened between us. So naturally. I didn't break down again. I tried to handle it a bit more effectively without people having to step in. But at one point, I actually couldn't take it anymore, and I had to go to the counseling on my own free will. But then, well, the ending is we, I, me, I tried to fix the problem because this was post YJUM depart. This is after YJUM's depart, so I tried to fix things with them, and it didn't work. They just kept saying that, oh, I was just overthinking. I was just insecure. No, we are not a couple. Shut the fuck up. It was just that, and just they didn't want to fix the problem with me, even though we had one conversation saying that, oh, I talked to, let's say, YJ. All right, we'll say YJ. They said I was talking to YJ a bit too much. And I replied, you were talking to Alan Yo too much. And we agreed to make an effort to change this if we wanted to remain friends. I changed. I talked to YJ significantly less than before, but they didn't. It was just the same old LC. I tried confronting them about this. I tried telling them that I tried asking to solve this with a good talk, but I guess it just never happened. They didn't want to talk to me. They just kept pushing me away. And eventually, I couldn't take it anymore. I had to cut ties. I cut ties over text because telling it in public, she would probably ridicule me or something. She might probably ridicule me, and telling over in person, she would probably just push me away even more, not giving me a chance. So I wanted an environment where my thoughts could be heard and not just pushed away like every other time I tried to talk and settle the mess. And now we're not friends anymore. Sometimes I look back and I regret doing it, but it was for my better. It was for the better. Finals were approaching. I couldn't have this thing weigh me down. And I'm proud to say that my finals were actually quite decent. It wasn't really that bad, but I knew it could have been better if I solved this problem quickly. So thank you, LZ, for ruining 3 months of my fucking life. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Uh, so yeah, that was the story of the Dumbass Trio and how it slowly fell apart because of, well, partly because of Why Jumps Apart, but mostly because of me and LZ. We ended on good terms, even though I still resent her a little bit. Just a smidge for ruining 3 months of my life. No big deal. But I do wish them the best, and I hope they have a nice life. Even though they ruined 3 months of my life, and I need to bring that to light because that's very serious. But other than that, that was one of the most interesting experiences I had in school, I guess. But then again, there are a bit more interesting stuff like my performances. So on a lighter and happier note, my performances. It was a choral speaking. We performed in front of the stage twice in front of the stage. There was one time where during the what was it? I think during an event of the seniors, we had to perform choral speaking for them. We attended on a Saturday, and we all had to wear white shirts and black pants, long pants, of course. We're not going with shorts. I feel like that's very bad. So we went there, we performed, we saw performances, and we performed ourselves too. and that was actually quite fun, you know. During the other choral speaking, yeah, the rehearsals were really fun too. Uh, props to one of my classmates, which was actually the voted leader or the instructor. No, not instructor. The well, I'll just say leader, voted leader. Thank you. I know it's hard to deal with our bullshit. So if you watch this video, I thank you very much for putting up with our choral speaking bullshit. But other than that, there hasn't been much going on. Just kidding. Of course, there is more. There's one more before I gotta go. And before this video gets too long, I guess. So I'm gonna make this quick. During finals, which was I think a few days ago, I think like 1 or 2 weeks ago, during a math test, I couldn't get the answer right, and I only could have gotten the right answer after 4 attempts. So, uh, since I used up all my space on the paper, the test paper, I had to take a piece of tracing paper, write the right answer, and stick it on the front page, hoping teacher would notice it and write grade it as right. Uh, no, teacher did not grade it as right, so that was quite sad because the ink smudged. I'm going to be releasing a completely separate video on teachers because I specifically been avoiding them just in case some snitch decides to snitch on the teachers that I'm gonna talk about in my next video and get me expelled for quote unquote cyberbullying or slandering their reputation. But other than that, that's it for the video. If you like this, make sure to like and subscribe and tell me about these video formats and do you would you want to see more of it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the gameplay in the background and stay safe and have fun. All right. I am very sorry that this video is very lightly edited because yeah, my mental state is still not doing quite well. I'm trying to recover from the incident stated in the story earlier, so my videos might not be of highest quality, but gotta get back into content creation somehow. It's my dream, even though I really have no time and had to focus on something else. But it's fine. So don't mind the lightly edited video because like if you're planning to watch this, it's just fish gameplay with occasional gifs and shit. So do something while you're at it. Go do your homework or something. Just put this in the background if you want to watch it. Thanks for the support. Bye bye.